Hi everyone, it's Dot, and tonight I'm going to make a carnivore dish. So it's my first carnivore dish for the channel. And now when you're dealing with carnivore, let's take a look at it. A lot of people think, you have to be pure and you only can have meat and the only seasoning you can have is salt. Not true. That is one way of doing it. You can also use spices. And the idea behind it is, look, if you're using spices to make your meat tasty, that's perfectly fine because it's a better way of eating than when you're eating all of that processed crap with your meat. You don't want to do that. I'm choosing to do my carnivore using spices. So I'm going to be making chicken wings. And the ingredients I'm going to use, or one of them is a little bit different. It's a way to help make the chicken crispy since I'm going to be baking these. And that is my baking powder. So I'm going to just sprinkle this on. And what you want to make sure of is, before I just sprinkled it on, and I've already done that, is you want to make sure your chicken is really dry. Just use paper towels. You want to get as much of the moisture off the chicken as possible. That helps them crisp up as well. So I have my baking powder in here. I'm using my curry. I'm using a yellow curry for this. I have some cayenne pepper and pink Himalayan salt I'm adding. And all you're going to do is, I'm using gloves for this. You don't have to. But I'm just going to start tossing everything together because you want to make sure you get a good mix. You want everything to be, all the chicken to be coated as much as possible. I have everything coated. Now some of these are a little bit lightly coated, but I've got some seasoning down at the bottom, and all I'm going to do as I start putting the chicken on the rack, I'll have better access to that seasoning to sort of press that into some of these lighter coated pieces of chicken. I'm just using a baking sheet. I have a tray sitting on top of it to better cook the chicken, and I've already gone ahead and oiled it. And I put aluminum foil down on my baking pan just for easier cleanup. So let's just go ahead and start putting the chicken on the rack. And you want to give a little bit of space between each one. And see, like I said, this one is a little bit lightly coated. So I'm just going to rub it a little bit more. Just make sure I get all the little dregs of the seasoning. Some of you might be wondering if I'm using free-range chickens. I'm not. I'm using actually a hormone and antibiotic-free chicken instead. And you can certainly tell by the size that they're not free-range chickens. I'm not using the hormones and antibiotics, and that to me is the healthiest way I can do it at a good price. When you're looking at the macronutrients that are out there between your protein, your carbs, and your fat, protein is the most expensive one. So certainly with carnivore, it is a consideration you have to do when you're doing this diet. I have my chicken all done. It's going to go in the oven at 250 for 30 minutes. You may think that's a low temperature. It's not. And it's just because of the way that I'm using baking powder with the chicken. You also want to put the chicken in the lower third of the oven for that first 30 minutes. My 30 minutes are up, but I'm not done cooking the chicken just yet. I'm going to reset the oven temperature to 425. Now I'm going to go and move the chicken. Remember, I put it at the bottom of the oven. Now I'm going to put it at the top third of the oven. Now the size of my chicken, they're pretty big, so I'm going to cook them for about 30 minutes. And about 20 minutes into that cooking time, I'm going to test them for doneness. But 30 minutes should take care of it. They are done. It took me about 30 minutes, so it did go the full time. And the smell has been driving us crazy. We could just start smelling the curry in the house. And I can't wait to dig in. I let them cool a little bit, so hopefully, So let's go ahead and give the curry chicken a little try. The wings, I should say. Okay, these are really tasty. Has a really nice curry flavor. The cayenne pepper is doing its job, so it's giving it the kick that it needs. They're definitely crispy. Tastes really nice, really good. These are a little carby in the sense that if we were to eat just the whole batch between the two of us, it'd be a lot of carbs there. And I don't want to do that. And it's because the curry powder has carbs and so does the baking powder. But I'll have all that information below for you. So hit like if you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and until next time, I'll see ya.